Recently, a huge victory was won in court for Black American farm workers along the Mississippi Delta who found themselves being replaced by white South African workers imported into the United States on H2A visas. Now, what I want to do is get into two pieces of information regarding this case. The first is an article from Breitbart, and the second is the actual statement released from the Black American farm workers by way of their lawyers via the Mississippi Center for Justice. Now, let's get into the first piece of information from the article on Breitbart titled Black American Score Settlement Against U.S. Farms That Replaced Them with Foreign Workers. As Breitbart News reported in November 2021, a number of Black Americans along the Mississippi Delta filed a racial discrimination lawsuit against their former employers, Pitts Farms and Harris Russell Farms, for laying them off only to replace them with white foreign H2A visa workers from South Africa. Data shows U.S. farms use the H2A visa program to import cheaper foreign visa workers. Now, I'm not going to get into the data right now, but I will leave the link to the data in the description box below, as well as pinned in the comment section. But now listen to this, because this is very interesting. The data is very clear that immigrants who come into the country on the H2A visa program enter in for the purposes of cheap labor. But in this particular situation concerning the white South African workers, they were imported into the country and reportedly paid more than the black workers that they were replacing. The Black Americans who filed the lawsuit claimed they were paid $7.25 to $8.25 an hour, while their foreign H2A visa counterparts were paid nearly $12 an hour. The settlement, of which the terms have not been publicly disclosed, will send a message to employers looking to discriminate against Americans in favor of foreign visa workers, lawyers representing the Black Americans suggested. The H2A visa program allows U.S. farms to annually outsource an unlimited number of American jobs to foreign workers who can extend their stay for up to 3 years. The foreign families of H2A visa workers can also come to the U.S. on H4 visas. In 1997, a little more than 16,000 foreign visa workers were imported to take American jobs on U.S. farms. By 2021, that number ballooned to a record 258,000 foreign visa workers. I'm going to repeat that one more time. By 2021, that number ballooned to a record 258,000 foreign visa workers, an increase in the H2A visa program of more than 1,500% in less than 25 years. Now let's get into the statement released by the Mississippi Center for Justice titled Black Mississippi Farm Workers Reach Settlement in 2 Lawsuits. Black Mississippi farm workers reached settlements in 2 lawsuits over racial discrimination and abuse of the immigration system by Delta Farms. Today, the Mississippi Center for Justice and the Southern Migrant Legal Services announced that their clients, 13 black farmers from the Mississippi Delta, reached settlements in December with 2 Mississippi Delta farming operations in 2 lawsuits alleging that the farms paid white workers imported from South Africa more money than they paid the black workers from the Delta and gave the white South Africans more hours to work. One of the lawsuits was brought by 8 workers from Pitts Farms, a business that grows cotton, soybean, and corn. The other was brought by 5 workers from Harris Russell Farms, a catfish growing operation. Both farms are from Sunflower County. According to the lawsuits, the businesses obtained visas for the white South African workers by falsely claiming to the U.S. Department of Labor that they would pay local workers as much as any foreign workers and would offer employment opportunities to local workers first. The case against Pitts Farms was featured in an article in the New York Times. In order to preserve their privacy, the workers agreed with the farms that the amounts of the settlements would be kept confidential, but lawyers for the farm workers emphasized their hope that these settlements will send a message to other employers. We are pleased that an agreement was reached to compensate our clients for the discrimination they suffered at these 2 farms, said Amal Bouhabib, a lawyer with Southern Migrant Legal Services who represented the workers. But many other Delta farms are engaging in these unlawful practices, as more suits will be coming against those who do not pay fair wages to their local workers. This particular form of discrimination is a recent manifestation of an age-old problem of exploitation of black labor in America, and particularly in the Delta, said Rob McDuff, a lawyer for the Mississippi Center for Justice, who also represented the workers. These settlements are an important step, and we are going to keep moving forward in an effort to eradicate these abuses throughout the Delta. In addition to filing these lawsuits, the two organizations also contacted the U.S. Department of Labor about the persistence of these practices in the Delta. In response, U.S. Labor Secretary Marty Walsh visited the Delta on June 30th, and 2 months later, nearly 30 Labor Department investigators fanned out across the Delta to talk to farm owners and workers about the problem. Subsequently, the Department of Labor announced that it had recovered unpaid wages of $134,532 for 45 workers at 11 Delta farms and levied fines of $122,610 against those farms. Our litigation campaign and the U.S. government administrative enforcement have worked in tandem to improve the lives of many of these local farm workers, said Vangela Wade, president and CEO of Mississippi Center for Justice. We look forward to continuing this campaign in the Delta and bringing some measures of justice to the workers who have been unpaid and mistreated for many years. Wade added, this would not be possible without the brave actions of our farm worker clients who took a stand against these injustices and helped shine a light on them. So, this is great news for once. And in closing, we need to take more actions like this by way of lawsuits and getting behind those who are doing the work, such as they are at the Mississippi Center for Justice. Now, I don't know much about this organization, but they are clearly doing the work and have now gotten my attention, and I will definitely be looking more into them. So with all that being said, that does it for today's video. Please make sure you hit the subscribe button as well as the bell notification next to the subscribe button so you can be notified whenever I release a new video. All social media links will be pinned in the comment section below. And also, please make sure you text tdhiphop to number 33222. That's tdhiphop to number 33222. That way you'll get a text notification whenever I release a new video, but it also serves as an insurance plan for myself, so in case YouTube ever gives me the axe, I'll be able to send you a direct link to where you can find me next. And last but certainly not least, for those of you who have a love and appreciation for the work that I put in on this channel, the number one way you can show your support is through Patreon. For only $3 a month, that will help put me in position to take TD Hip Hop Media off of YouTube. Remember, the goal is not to grow big on YouTube, but to grow independent of YouTube. And for those of you who have issues with joining Patreon, you can also hit the join button that's next to the subscribe button, and that way you can become an official channel member for as little as $3 a month as well. And lastly, if you haven't already, please make sure you join the emailing list. There is no way that I can go independent of YouTube if I cannot take the audience with me. And the link to that will be pinned in the comment section as well. Thank you for your time, and until the next video, peace.